Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about, is buy-to-let dead? It's a very common question. In fact, you guys have the answer for that already. And so many people on the channel that watch are landlords that say, I'm leaving the market because I've had enough of all the legislation. I've had enough of the renters' rights. I've had enough of the EPC. I've had enough of interest rates being higher than ever. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you whether I think buy-to-let is dead and whether you should consider it if you're a new investor, or should you stick in the market if you're already an investor as well. Now, before we jump into this, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're on the way to 50,000 subscribers, and by subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property investing tips, and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video, because I think people need to know, what is the state of the market? Well, your part's simple in this part. All you need to do is smash like, tick or like, do something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that's really helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that does that. So, buy-to-let. You might be a landlord already. There's thousands of landlords that watch this channel every single month, and a lot of them are looking to leave the market. If you're a landlord looking to leave, let me know in the comments. But here's some of the reasons why they're looking to leave. Let's have a look at this. Firstly, we should talk about EPCs. So EPCs is something called an Energy Performance Certificate. If you want to rent your property or sell your property, or if you want to buy one, you can see these already. If you look on Rightmove, you can see what's the EPC, the Energy Performance Certificate. Now, A is the best, and I think F is the worst. And different properties have different levels. Newer properties are more likely to be closer towards the A, but a lot of them, they might be at that C level. And the government are saying, in order to rent a property from 2028, you will need to have that property at a level C. All properties will need to be a level C to rent by 2030. New tenancies on 2028. Now, do I think that's going to happen? I don't. I think the government is going to keep pushing that date back and back and back, and I don't think that that will get implemented. You can see the government turning on the net zero stuff already. They're souring on it. Ed Miliband is very, very strong on that. He's the guy running this and pushing through the net zero agenda. But this week in the news, he's saying maybe we should be drilling in the North Sea because we own the oil there and someone else is drilling it. So is it that green if we buy it from Norway when we could be buying it ourselves for cheaper? So Ed Miliband, I think he might not be around for much longer. Maybe not. Let me know what you think in the comments. But either way, I think the EPC stuff is going to get pushed back. But a lot of landlords are worried about it. So if you are considering being a landlord, you've got to be aware of it and know when you buy a property, could you get it to a level C or not? The next thing that's pushing landlords out is renters' rights. I've done a video this week on that, and the biggest problem that landlords have with that is the Section 21 no-fault evictions. They're terrified of it, not being able to get their property back, fines for not having a fit and proper property that people can rent. This stuff worries landlords, and it is something you've got to be aware of. You need to make sure that you're legal, you do everything right. And this can be seen as something that's bad because you might have to do more work, but you could also see it as an advantage because all your competing landlords might have to spend a fortune bringing their property up to standard. That means they might increase the rent. That could be good for all of you. So renters' rights can be difficult, and it is something you need to keep your knowledge up on, which is why you should subscribe so you get all the updates on that. But I don't think it's as big a concern as people think. I think we'll all get used to it, and in 6 months, we'll know where we are, and either you leave or you stay. So do let me know what you think about that one. And the next thing is interest rates. These have been high for a while, but they are going down slowly. In the mini budget, interest rates were 6.5%. Now you can get deals around 4%. But that means that you've got less margin in your property. So that means that it is a little tougher. And all these are contributing factors to why some landlords don't feel buy-to-let works and it's dead. So let's look at what strategies do work. Well, the first one I want to talk about is buy to let. Does it work? Well, not everywhere is the answer. In the south of England, especially in London, very hard to get buy to let to work because the house prices are so high, rents are high, but not relative to the amount that you pay for a property. So buy to let is very tough in the south of England. But where it does start to work is in the Midlands and in the north of England. I've got a buy to let in Doncaster. That works very, very well up there. I bought a property for £60,000. We refurbed it for around £15,000. We got it revalued at £100,000. We've got most of our money back out of that deal. And then we now get £725 rent from that property. And the mortgage is not big at all on that. So buy to let is something that can work, but you've got to do it in the right areas. The north of England is very good. But what other strategies should you be looking at? Because that's not the best at the moment. Well, other ones to look at are things like serviced accommodation. And so serviced accommodation is where you rent a property out on Airbnb. I'm going out with a friend tonight who has an Airbnb in Dorking in Surrey. It was a 2-bedroom house that he lived in many years ago. Then he rented it out as a standard property. And now he rents it out as serviced accommodation. It's just in Dorking town. It's a strange place that you'd think, maybe, would that work? Shouldn't I be in a seaside town? Well, here's the thing. Being in a seaside town is very seasonal. So you don't get bookings all year. And being in other places where there's loads of serviced accommodation means you're competing against lots of people. In Dorking, there's not lots of competition. And so his serviced accommodation business makes him about £1,500 extra profit per month than he used to make when he ran it as a normal vanilla buy-to-let, and he was losing money at that stage. So that works very, very well. Serviced accommodation, you need to look at areas that can get bookings all year round. City centres are good. Not London though, because you can only let it out for 90 days a year in London. Next, HMOs. This stands for House of Multiple Occupancy. Think of student accommodation. Maybe you went to uni and you stayed in student accommodation. Or I didn't go to uni, but I stayed with all my mates that did, and they had rooms that they rented out. They have that for everyone else now. HMOs, House of Multiple Occupancy. So you take a 3-bedroom house with 2 reception rooms, and then you turn that into a 5-bedroom property, and you rent it out on a room-by-room basis. That does very, very well in today's market. It's high cash flow. You need to know what you're doing. You need to do all the legislation and follow all the rules. But HMOs is a great strategy. And so I would look at that as well. And my most popular strategy is the BRRR strategy. And that stands for buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. You can see multiple times where I've done that on this channel, where I bought a property, like the one I did for Georgia in Doncaster. We refurbished that property. We then refinance. That means we've got a new mortgage on the property. And then that hopefully pulled out a lot of the debt, the money that we had in that property. Hopefully we got a lot of that back with that new mortgage and paid ourselves off. And then we rent that property out. Now, sometimes you'll get all of your money back. Sometimes people make a profit on that straight away. Sometimes you just have to wait a few years for it to go up and value a little bit more, but you can pull your money out and then you haven't got that deposit left in there. So you can use that deposit to buy another property and rent that property out. That is how you recycle your money and keep it going. That's a smart way to invest in property. And I want to give you all of these strategies, an overview on how this works. We've got a course called The Fundamentals of Property Investing. It's £20 at the moment, and I'm going to link to it in the description. You can find out how to use all these strategies, how to add value to the property, how to get maximum cash flow from that property as well. So click in the description, grab that now, and see how that could really make you some good money in property. Thousands of people have already grabbed that. It's £20 one-time purchase. Do also check out all the other content as well on this channel, including this video right here.